Imagine we're sitting in a car. I steer right, the car goes right. I steer left, and the car goes left. Same with the bike. Right is right, left is left. But then, step onto a boat, and suddenly the rules flip. Steer left, and the boat moves right. Steer right, and the boat moves left. Two different vehicles, two different logics. And then there's a plane. Pull the controls up, it nose dips first before it can actually fly. Now here's the shift. We started with a simple circle. And as we understood other possibilities, a shift began. Every circle, a car, a boat, a plane operates by its own reality. The circles are side by side, but as you start noticing the patterns, it joins, forming an infinity loop, a loop of intertwined perspectives, multiple realities, and infinite possibilities. That's when it hit me. We must first ask, what is the vehicle? Which direction? Because that's what defines the rules. Yet, most of us skip that step and rush straight to answers. But the moment you start noticing these patterns, something changes. We stop clinging to answers and start asking burning questions. It is this act, the willingness to question, something even more powerful happens. We break out of our infinity loop and step into a higher perspective. And from that height, we don't just settle for answers in one circle or even that infinity loop of many circles. We get to pick our own perspectives, something we haven't even imagined yet. Now here's the interesting part. Throughout this process, I didn't change any perspectives. I just added knowledge. Each new example showed us another possibility, another reality. And our knowledge and our perspectives shifted, widened. Because knowledge is always out there. Once it enters, it shapes our perception. The byproduct, our perceptions widen. And the wider our perceptions, the higher our perspective. From that height, we don't just see the reality, we can create it, draw our own circle, write our own rules, and imagine a new reality. Keeping this in mind, let's move on and explore a new circle. Anupam Mittal says Gen Z is spoiled, entitled, and a nightmare to work with. This is not just his opinion. Research backs this. Approximately 65% of Gen Zs leave their jobs within the first 12 months. And some even report struggling with workplace stress, anxiety, and managing emotions. Simon Sinek echoes this challenge. He says, Gen Zs know what they want, think that they know what they want, but they don't. Leadership is more difficult now than it has ever been. He is someone I picked up so many perspectives from. Someone who broke the internet for his take on millennials. I'm surprised by how shallow his take on Gen Z's feels. Yes, challenges exist. Gen Zs can be restless, emotional, and difficult to manage if misunderstood. Yet, none of us talk about how Gen Z is yet the most health-conscious generation ever. Smoking isn't cool anymore. Mental health isn't a taboo. Okay, I'm not here to justify. That's not the point. Let's understand, because this is their reality, a circle in which they share their lived experiences with Gen Z. Let's seek knowledge, explore other circles and other realities. I'm going to take a step back to understand the generational patterns. The 5S Gen chart, starting with 1946, right after the World War II. Boomers, their biggest challenge was surviving. And in achieving those, they felt contentment. Let's call them the survivors. Next, 1965, the Gen X. They wanted to settle down now. They wanted that car, that job security. And their drive came from establishing solid foundations, the settlers. Next, 1981, around our parents' generation. Their drive was not just one car or one house, wealth. And they dreamt more than our grandparents ever could imagine. In striving to achieve those dreams, they felt arrived. Dreamers or strivers. 1997, finally we are here, the Gen Zs. Multiply identity and impact. Not just jobs, meaning, not just growth, making a difference. In every generation, one thing remains constant. We all respond to external stimuli, whether it is achievements, experiences, or even medicines. We all respond to chemical reaction that happen inside us. And that's the beauty of it. We are living in the safest, unprecedented times. Survival no longer gives us the same chemical reactions in us. Our basic needs are already met. We are here to find our identity in purpose. We seek impact, and we are the seekers. Please take this circle too. This is our reality. As a Gen Z myself, I was once amongst the youngest esports co-founders in the country, having sponsorships from NVIDIA, Intel, Cooler Master, Game Diaz, multiple of those brands. Maybe you name it, they would have backed us. Profits, recognition, everything going well in my student life. But once I graduated, things changed. My batchmates went on to continue their student lifestyle, being placed in the Big Four. I, on the other hand, felt stuck. That 1 lakh profit I was so proud of, and that success that I was so proud of, suddenly felt meaningless. I was depressed. And at the same time, when I wanted to grow my startup, I started feeling anxious. Because I wasn't yet prepared for the dream investors I wanted. I was clueless on how to move forward. I was depressed and anxious at the same time. I didn't even dare to question myself the answers I knew I didn't have immediate answers for. Slowly I began to write, and writing helped. The real turning point came when I met my guru, Gopadi Srinivas Rao sir. Somebody who dedicates his time in making the people around him independent, from simple bakery owners to some simple bakery operators to restaurant owners, from people who he can expect nothing in return from, including his driver. If he wanted, he could have increased his business to pan-India, increased his profits, raised his company valuation, yet he chose something rarer and seldom to widen his purpose and amplify his impact. He's the chairman of Mayura Group, the force behind Taza Tindi, Mayura Bakery, Cool Joint, some of the brands that we all know. It burnt in me. How can someone be so selfless? He focused on serving, not just surviving or striving. In traveling this burning question, how can he be so selfless? I broke out of my infinity loop. That's when I realized, not just me, all of us, Gen Zs, don't wake up just to survive anymore. We wake up to serve. for us, it's never just been about something for ourselves. It's about creating something that matters. We are not just founders, we are seekers. We are not just trying to leave an enterprise, we are trying to leave a stamp. This can make us seem restless if misunderstood. Research backs this. 72% of Gen Zs prefer job satisfaction over a bigger paycheck. And they're willing, Deloitte 2023 quotes this, they're willing to pay more for sustainable living and ethically produced goods. Remember, multiple realities can coexist. One shark said, Gen Z is a nightmare to work with, Anupam Mittal. And another shark said, Gen Z doesn't work just for money. They work for meaning and impact, Aman Gupta. Both realities coexist. Instead of arguing which side is true, maybe the real wisdom is to hold both truths at once. And here's what I learned from my journey of finding a purpose. When your mind feels your life is moving faster than it's capable to handle, we feel anxious. When your mind feels your life is moving slower than you can handle, then you feel depressed. Did you notice one thing? Your life is always there. It's what your mind feels. It oscillates between being unprepared for your dreams and yet fearing for your future. Science backs this too. Depression literally slows us down. What psychiatrists call the psychomotor retardation. Neuroimaging studies from Harvard shows the brain's prefrontal cortex, the activity which manages our execution, is the least. Anxiety, on the other hand, is faster heart rate, but no progress. Both, which are extremes, make it difficult for us to act, decide, or find that balance. That was my reality at my rock bottom. Yet again, I don't get depressed simply because I fail. I get depressed when I feel that failing, when I feel and fear that failing in this would lead me to failing in XYZ or ABC in times to come, like a block ahead. I didn't feel depressed when I failed an exam in my college, because I knew I could write a supply, study a little, and come back on track. But when my startup faced challenges that hit differently, because I feared that this would ripple into my career, my life, and my entire path ahead, that's when my mom told me, this is not the end of your life. Use your blocks as steps, not as dead ends. In that moment, I realized something powerful. The more aware I became, the lesser depressed I feel. Similarly, if not the startup pitch, I could do better the next time. If not this exam, you could always do better in the next. If not this job, you could do better in the next. Or DM the owner. What do we get to lose? Supplies and second chances are always there. Above that, don't let success or failures define you guys. Similarly, the more prepared you are for your dreams, your futures, the lesser anxious you feel. As we play with awareness and preparation, one thing becomes clear. Even if depression and anxiety don't happen together, they go hand in hand. Now, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. Whether it's a meeting, whether it's an event, or anything, if you're fully prepared, but unaware if the meeting will happen, you'll go back to being depressed. If you're only aware of the meeting, and once the meeting comes, or the event comes, or anything in your life comes, and you're unprepared, you'll go back to feeling anxious. The idea is simple. Find that balance. Be a little aware. Be a little prepared. Be a little aware. Be a little prepared. Be a little aware. Prepare. Now you're there. Aware and prepared. Ready for the meeting, event, or anything in your life. Don't break that flow. Take a break if needed. Above all, when you're not even able to figure out if you're stressed or anxious, that is when, if you're anxious or depressed, that is when you're stressed. Your mind is moving so fast that you don't even know what happens next. It was me in my rock bottom. Give it time. Inertia will settle. You will reach a place where your mind aligns with your life and the ball comes to rest. In that stillness, you are one with your life. Now, that inner peace that I'm talking about is not just a personal insight. It is part of something much bigger. About 70,000 years ago, Homo sapiens experienced the cognitive revolution. They gained the ability to think abstractly, share ideas, and work together. Evolution was no more about survival. They moved from hunter-gatherers to farmers. They moved from myth believers to knowledge seekers. And evolution has always been about perspectives as much as it has been about biology. Even today, our greatest strength is the ability to question reality, which comes from awareness and preparation. Like our ancestors, we must embrace the unknown as a calling. Let's summarize. We started with a circle, stepped out of it, and as we asked those burning questions and traveled that quest, we broke out of it. We broke out of that loop. Now you may ask me, why did you break and go up? Why not bottom? Okay, why not diagonal? Okay. If the education system manages to teach us this one thing, the courage to ask burning questions and the strength to travel your quest, we are all set to blossom. I want to leave this podium with one line. If a college degree is enough, I quote, if a college degree is enough, every graduate would be a billionaire. Namaskaram.